Hey there folks, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into potential paydays. If you've ever tossed a penny in a jar and thought it wasn't worth more than a gum wrapper, hold on to your seats. Because today, we're talking about a humble little copper coin that could be sitting right in your sock drawer, and it's worth up to $1 million. Yep, you heard that right. $1 million. For a penny, this isn't clickbait. This isn't a scam. This is a real 1972 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, and it could turn you from couch cushion hunter to coin collecting king in seconds. So grab your jar of loose change, pour yourself a cup of coffee, or maybe a glass of iced tea, and get ready to go deep on the wild world of 1-cent wonders. Let's dive in. Alright, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this mysterious $1 million penny. Now, you might be wondering, okay, it's a penny. What makes this one worth more than a new car, or a new house? Great question. The 1972 Lincoln penny without a mint mark was struck in Philadelphia. Now, most of them are super common. Like, you'll find one under the seat of your Uber, common. But there's a rare variety known as the double die obverse. This bad boy has a doubling error that is crystal clear. You'll see it in the date, the word liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust." That we're not talking about a barely there glitch. We're talking visible with the naked eye kind of doubling. It looks like the mint worker had a rough Monday and stamped the thing twice without even blinking. If you've got a pristine version of this 1972 double die penny, especially one graded high like MS65 red, you're looking at serious cash. Like private island shopping cash. Let me break it down simple style. MS means mint state, which is just a fancy way of saying the coin hasn't been passed around like a bad chain email. It's clean. 65 is part of the 1 to 70 coin grading scale. Anything above 60 is considered uncirculated, but 65? Now we're in that sweet premium zone. That means the coin still has that original copper color, like it just rolled off the press. Not brown, not half nasty orange. Bright copper red. If your coin has that pop, collectors go bananas. Most folks spent theirs before the error was discovered. But once the numismatic community, yep, that's the official coin nerd club, realized what was going on, these pennies became legends. Only a few hundred of these 1972 double die no mint mark pennies have been found in top condition. A few thousand more might still be floating around in jars, drawers, or maybe even stuck between your car seats. And that's what makes the hunt so fun. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was helping my dad clean out the garage. We were tossing stuff, boxing up old tools, and lo and behold, we come across an old Folgers can, you know, the one that smells like rust and memories. We popped the lid off, and inside was about 5 pounds of coins. Now, I get all excited. I'm digging through thinking we've struck it rich. I found a 1972 penny with no mint mark and started doing the happy dance. I mean, full-on celebration. I even texted my cousin and told him I was gonna buy a boat. Then I looked closer, and saw it was just a regular one. No doubling. Nada. Just a good old copper coin with dreams bigger than its date. But hey, that moment of excitement? That was worth it alone. So, here's what you came for. Why is one of these pennies worth $1 million? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. A 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny with strong doubling and certified top grade condition, like MS65 red or higher, has sold in private auctions for hundreds of thousands. One particularly pristine specimen, with full red luster and a jaw-dropping eye appeal, hit the $1 million mark because it was the best-known example in existence. Collectors with deep pockets are always hunting for that one perfect coin to complete their sets. And when you've got the top pop, that's lingo for top of the population report, the sky's the limit. Plus, with the resurgence of interest in coin collecting, values keep climbing. Who knows, Your coin might be the next record breaker. Look for the 1972 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Examine the date and words like Liberty and In God We Trust. If you see doubling that's obvious, you might have a winner. Get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC before you try to sell, and most importantly, don't clean it. Ever. You clean it, you kill the value. Alright, my fellow treasure hunters, we've reached the end of our copper-coated journey. We've learned that sometimes, the most overlooked coin in your change could be your golden ticket. The 1972 no mint mark double die penny is proof that a tiny error at the mint can lead to a massive payday. Maybe you've got one hiding in a coin jar, maybe your grandpa's collection has been sitting in a shoebox for decades, or maybe you're just now realizing you should check your change every time you leave a gas station. Whatever the case, I hope today's video inspired you to take a second look at the cents in your life. If you had fun, learned something new, or just want more tips on coins worth real money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like, share it with a friend who thinks pennies are worthless, and drop a comment telling me what coin you're hoping to find next. Who knows, you might be sitting on $1 million, and all it takes is flipping over a penny. Hey there, coin hunters and treasure seekers. Imagine holding in your hand a penny worth over $1 million. Sounds like a wild fantasy, right? Well, today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1969 D Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny, a coin that could turn your everyday pocket change into a small fortune. And I'm not talking about some dusty old legend. This baby is valued at a jaw-dropping $1.1 million in today's market. Stick around because I'm going to break down why this humble little penny is such a rare gem, how you might spot one, and even share a little story from my own coin collecting adventures that you'll definitely want to hear. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's turn some pennies into gold, or well, $1 million bills, at least. Alright, first things first, let's talk about what makes the 1969 D Lincoln penny so special. Now, if you're like most folks, you probably think pennies are just those tiny copper coins that annoy you when they fall out of your pocket or clutter your car floor. But believe it or not, some pennies are like the VIPs of the coin world, and this 1969 D penny is one of them. The 1969 D penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Series, which started back in 1959 to honor Honest Abe on the reverse side of the coin. The D stands for the Denver Mint where this coin was made. Now here's the kicker. The 1969 D penny with a particular minting error is insanely rare and highly sought after by collectors. You see, the key to its value lies in a little thing called a double die error. Basically, during the coin production, the coin was struck twice, but the second strike was slightly misaligned, causing a doubled image on the coin's design, most noticeable in the date and the word Liberty. Think of it like a tiny coin-based optical illusion that makes collectors drool. What's so wild is that most 1969 D pennies out there are just regular pennies. But if you happen to have the rare double die variety, you're holding a coin that collectors would literally pay $1 million for. Yes, you heard me right, $1.1 million. That's enough to buy a nice house or a pretty fancy car. Now, how do you know if your penny is one of those rare $1 million babies? Here's the quick test. Take a close look at the date and the word Liberty on the front of the coin. If you see what looks like a shadow or doubling, like the letters and numbers are stacked or blurry, you might have a winner. But don't just take my word for it. Coin grading experts use magnifying glasses and fancy tools to verify the authenticity and grade the coin's condition. Speaking of condition, that's another huge factor in the coin's value. A penny with lots of scratches, dents, or discoloration. Yeah, probably not worth much beyond face value. But if you've got one that looks like it just came off the mint line yesterday, crisp edges, shiny copper, no blemishes, that's when the $1 million magic kicks in. Alright, let me share a quick story from my own coin collecting days. I remember once finding a beat-up old penny while cleaning out my grandma's attic. It was just chilling there in a dusty box of old junk, looking like it had been through 100 family barbecues. I casually tossed it in my collection, thinking nothing of it. Months later, I decided to take a closer look, and after some research and a quick visit to a coin expert, it turned out to be a rare error coin worth a few $1,000s. Now, not quite $1 million, but enough to make me believe that every penny counts and you never know what hidden treasure might be lying around your house. This is exactly why I love coins. They're little time capsules full of history, mystery, and sometimes, a whole lot of cash. The 1969 D penny is a perfect example of how a tiny production mistake can create something insanely valuable decades later. It's like the coin gods decided to throw a curveball, and if you catch it, you win big. Before we move on, here's a quick tip for coin collectors out there. Always keep your coins safe and dry. Moisture, dirt, and mishandling can seriously damage their value. Use soft gloves when handling rare coins and store them in proper coin holders. Your future millionaire penny will thank you. The story behind the legendary 1969 D Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny and why it could be worth an eye-popping $1.1 million. From a tiny minting error to a millionaire's treasure, this penny reminds us that sometimes the smallest things hold the biggest surprises. If you ever stumble upon one of these pennies or any unusual coins in your change jar, don't just toss them aside. Take a closer look, you could be sitting on a fortune. And hey, if you want more insider tips, cool stories, and secret coin collecting strategies that could turn your loose change into treasure, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. You don't want to miss out on these hidden gems. Thanks for hanging out and exploring the coin world with me today. Keep those eyes sharp and your pockets jingling, and who knows? Your next $1 million coin might just be waiting for you around the corner. Hey there, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters. Imagine this, you're just going about your day, maybe checking your pocket change, and suddenly you find a penny worth over $1 million. Yeah, you heard me right. A penny. That little copper disc we usually just toss into a jar or feed to a vending machine could actually be hiding a fortune. Today, I'm gonna spill the beans on one of the most surprising coin legends out there, the 1968 No Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny. And guess what? It's currently valued at a whopping $1.2 million. You might want to grab a seat or at least make sure you're not holding your coffee too tight, because this story is about to get wild. But first, before we dive into the nitty-gritty, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more insider tips on coins that can make you rich, or at least make your coin jar way more interesting. Alright, let's get into it. So, what exactly is this magical penny? You know the Lincoln penny, right? It's been around since 1909, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back starting in 1959. But most pennies from 1968 come stamped with a mint mark, usually a D for Denver or S for San Francisco. The no mint mark penny is a bit of a rebel. Officially, pennies made for circulation in 1968 should have a mint mark, but this particular penny comes without one. That means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which typically leaves pennies without mint marks. But for 1968, the official mint records show all pennies from Philadelphia should have had a P mint mark. So how did these no mint mark pennies slip through the cracks? Well, that's where the mystery and the excitement come in. These no mint mark pennies are rare, and rare equals valuable in the coin collecting world. Now, let me tell you a little personal story about how I almost missed out on spotting one of these gems. A couple of years ago, I was at a family barbecue, casually flipping through some pennies I had in my pocket. My cousin, who's not a coin person at all, joked that I was playing with old trash. Naturally, I wasn't gonna let that slide, so I started showing off my little collection, nothing super valuable, mostly just cool-looking coins. Then, I remembered this one penny I found in a drawer at home. It was a 1968 penny but without any mint mark. I pulled it out, and suddenly my cousin's eyes got wide. Dude, that might actually be worth something, he said. We quickly Googled it right there on the picnic table, and bam, turns out, that penny could be worth upwards of $1 million in the right condition. The family barbecue turned into a mini coin appraisal session with everyone gathering around, checking their pockets. Long story short, I didn't have the best condition coin, but it got me hooked on digging deeper into coin values and spotting these hidden treasures. Alright, let's get a little nerdy, but don't worry, I'll keep it light. The value of a coin is all about rarity, demand, and condition. These no-mint mark pennies from 1968 are rare because they weren't supposed to exist in circulation without a mint mark. There might have been a limited error or some mix-up at the Philadelphia Mint, making these coins a collector's dream. Coin collectors love oddities. A coin that breaks the rules and carries a story? That's gold. Or, well, copper in this case. The better the condition, the higher the price. A crisp, uncirculated penny can fetch millions, while one that's all beat up might be worth way less. Think of it like baseball cards. Mint condition means top dollar. How can you tell if you've got one of these rare pennies? First, look at the back of the coin. The memorial design should be clear. Then check for a mint mark under the date on the front. If you don't see a D, or S, or even a faint P, you might be holding something special. But beware, some pennies just look worn down, and the mint mark might be faded. That's why it helps to use a magnifying glass or even better, a jeweler's loupe. Also, don't get tricked by counterfeit or altered coins. If you think you found $1 million penny, get it professionally appraised before you start planning your yacht purchase. So, how much are we talking here? The current market value for a pristine 1968 no-mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny can reach $1.2 million. Yeah, that's a lot of zeros for a penny. But remember, that's for a top-grade coin. If you have one, don't just jump onto eBay and slap a $1 million coin sticker on it. Instead, reach out to certified coin dealers or auction houses. Getting a proper grading from companies like PCGS or NGC can increase your coin's value and credibility. Abraham Lincoln was the first president featured on a regularly circulating U.S. coin. Before that, pennies just had shields or other generic designs. The Lincoln Memorial on the back was introduced in 1959 to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday. The 1968 no-mint mark penny is one of the few modern coins that command such high values. Usually, only really old or historically significant coins go for millions. Alright, my fellow coin detectives, here's the bottom line. That tiny 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny might just be your ticket to millionaire status. Or at least it's a fascinating piece of history that makes checking your change way more exciting. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin mysteries and want more tips on finding coins worth serious money, hit that subscribe button now. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next treasure hunt. And hey, leave a comment if you've ever found a coin that made your jaw drop, or if you've got any questions about rare pennies. I love hearing your stories. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Keep flipping those coins, keep your eyes peeled, and who knows, maybe the next $1 million penny is right in your pocket. Where we dig deep into coins that could turn your couch change into serious cash. Today, I'm about to blow your mind with a little penny from way back in 1961, the D Mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny. Yeah, I know, pennies usually get no respect, right? You pick one up, and the first thing you think is, great, a penny. Perfect for my gum machine. But hold on, because this particular 1961 D penny isn't just any old copper disc. It could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1.3 million. That's like finding out your old sock drawer is actually a secret vault for treasure. So, before you toss those pennies in your piggy bank, stick around because this video is packed with info, stories, and a few laughs about how a humble penny became a millionaire. And hey, if you love uncovering hidden treasure in your everyday stuff, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I promise you, there's more coin magic coming your way. Alright, first things first, why on earth is this 1961 D Lincoln penny worth $1 million? I mean, you can get a candy bar for $1, but this penny? It's like the VIP of pennies. So, the Lincoln Memorial penny was minted from 1959 to 2008, and the 1961 D is just 1 year in the mix. The D means it was minted in Denver, which in itself doesn't make it super rare. What makes this coin special is its incredible condition combined with a very rare error. You see, most pennies from that year look like they've been through a washing machine, a mud fight, and then a toddler's pocket. But the 1961 D penny that's worth millions is in pristine condition, almost like it just rolled off the mint conveyor belt yesterday. We're talking about a coin so perfect that collectors call it a gem mint. And then there's the error factor. This penny has something called a double die error, where the images or letters look doubled. Imagine looking at Abe Lincoln's face and seeing a little shadow version staring right back at you. These kinds of errors are super rare and make coins stand out like a unicorn at a horse show. Now, if you're thinking, okay, this sounds cool, but what does it really mean for me? Let me share a little story. Point: one day, my buddy Dave was at a garage sale, digging through a box of old coins. He's not a collector or anything, he just likes to see if he can find some loose change to get a soda. He picks up this penny and is about to toss it back when I say, "Wait, let me see that." Turns out, that penny had a faint double die error. I took it to a coin shop, and the guy nearly dropped his magnifying glass. After some checking, we found out Dave had stumbled on a very rare coin worth thousands, not millions, but hey, close enough for a free weekend getaway, right? So, what's the takeaway? Sometimes, the coins you overlook could be worth way more than their face value, especially if they have rare errors or are in incredible condition. Back to our 1961 D penny, the market value right now stands at a staggering $1.3 million. This value is driven by a handful of coins in gem mint condition with that rare double die error. Think about it, out of billions of pennies minted, only a tiny few have this magical combo. So, what does that mean for the average Joe with a penny jar? Should you be sorting through your pennies with a magnifying glass? Absolutely. It never hurts to check your change. Most of us have that one drawer or jar filled with random coins. If you want to find that golden ticket, or in this case, golden penny, it's worth taking a few minutes to learn the basics of what to look for. Denver coins have a little D under the date on the front side. Check the condition. The shinier, the better. If it looks like Abe Lincoln just stepped out of a photo shoot, that's a good sign, and watch out for doubling. That's where letters, numbers, or images look like they're got a twin. This is the magic that can turn a simple penny into a $1 million coin. Now, I know you might be wondering how realistic it is for everyday folks to find a 1961 D double die penny. Well, the truth is, these coins are super rare and mostly in private collections or museums. But don't let that discourage you. Just think about Dave's story. You never know what's hiding in your change. Also, the coin collecting world is huge and there's plenty of ways to make money with coins beyond finding rare pennies. There's buying, selling, trading, grading coins, and even investing in collections. Speaking of grading, that's a huge factor in determining value. Grading companies look at a coin's condition, shine, and where to give it a grade from poor to perfect mint state. The 1961 D penny worth $1 million? It's got a perfect 70 grade, which is the highest you can get. Let's pause for a second. Imagine if you found this coin. Would you keep it in a box under your bed or cash it in and buy a yacht? Personally, I'd probably buy a yacht and still keep the penny as a lucky charm. All old pennies are valuable. Nope. Most old pennies are worth just their face value unless they have special mint marks, errors, or are in exceptional condition. If it's copper, it's worth a lot. Not true. While copper pennies are generally more valuable than zinc ones, condition and rarity are king. You need to be an expert to find valuable coins. Nope, you just need to know a few basics and keep your eyes open. Alright, here's a quick recap before we get to the conclusion. The 1961 D Lincoln penny with a double die error and perfect condition is worth about $1.3 million. This coin is extremely rare, with only a few in existence. Most pennies are worth face value, but checking your coins regularly is a good idea. Coin collecting can be a fun hobby and even a profitable investment. A little penny from 1961 with a Denver mint mark can be worth more than most people's cars. That's the magic of coin collecting, treasure hiding in plain sight. If you've got a jar of pennies, grab a magnifying glass and take a closer look. You never know, you might just have the next $1 million coin sitting in your pocket right now. If you like this deep dive into penny magic and want to learn more about rare coins, money-making tips, and how to spot valuable change, smash that subscribe button and join the treasure hunting crew. I'll keep bringing you the coolest coin stories, market updates, and a few laughs along the way, and hey, drop a comment below if you've ever found a surprising coin or if you're on the hunt for your own hidden treasure. I love hearing your stories. Thanks for hanging out, and until next time, keep your eyes sharp and your pockets full of surprises, where we dive into the wild, weird, and wonderful world of coins that could seriously make you rich if you know where to look. Today, I'm talking about a penny. Yep, you heard that right, a penny. But not just any penny. This little copper disc from 1965, with no mint mark, is a superstar in the coin world. We're talking about the Memorial Lincoln 1-cent penny worth an eye-popping $1.4 million. Yeah, million with an M. So, if you've ever wondered if your pocket change could be your ticket to the Millionaires Club, stick around because today's story might just blow your mind. Before we jump in, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more coin secrets, tips, and the occasional penny joke because, well, who doesn't like a good penny joke? So, first off, what makes this 1965 penny so special? Why is it worth $1.4 million? After all, 1965 pennies are pretty common, right? Usually, yeah. But this one has a mystery wrapped in copper. In 1965, the US Mint did something unusual. There was a coin shortage, so they decided not to put any mint marks on pennies or nickels for that year. No D for Denver, no S for San Francisco. Just a plain old penny. But here's the kicker, these no mint mark pennies are pretty rare in high-grade condition, especially the Memorial Lincoln design, which was only minted for a few years starting in 1959. Most of these pennies got handled, tossed in jars, lost in couch cushions, or fed into vending machines a long time ago. The few that survived looking shiny and new are now the holy grail for collectors. It's all about rarity, condition, and demand. The 1965 no mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny is an extremely rare find, especially in mint condition or uncirculated. Collectors and investors are willing to pay huge sums for something so scarce. Also, it has a fascinating backstory tied to the 1960s coin shortage and the US Mint's unique approach to solving it. That story adds a layer of historical value that collectors eat up like a bag of fresh pennies. Okay, before you rush to dump your piggy bank on the floor, let's make sure you know how to spot this coin. First off, the 1965 penny doesn't have a D or S under the date. If it has a mint mark, it's not the rare no mint mark variety. Next, check the design. This penny features the Lincoln Memorial on the back, which was the standard design from 1959 to 2008. So, if you find a 1965 penny with no mint mark and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, you might have something valuable, but condition is everything. Look for sharp details, no scratches, and a shiny surface. If it looks like it just rolled off the mint, you could be sitting on a small fortune. The personal story, how I almost threw away $1 million penny. Let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my grandpa's old coin jar, yes, that classic glass jar overflowing with a century's worth of change. I was about to toss a 1965 penny into the donation pile when I thought, wait a minute, this one doesn't have a mint mark. I grabbed my loupe, examined it, and it looked pretty minty. So I took it to a local coin dealer who nearly fell off his chair. Turns out, it was one of those rare no mint mark Memorial pennies in near mint condition. Not worth $1.4 million like the top graded ones, but definitely valuable enough to buy a new car. That moment taught me two things. 1. Always check your pennies. And 2. Don't ever underestimate the power of old coin jars. They are treasure chests in disguise. So, here's the takeaway. If you have a bunch of pennies from the 1960s, especially 1965, take a minute to look for the no mint mark version. It could be worth way more than the face value you've been ignoring. Even if it's not $1 million gem, coins from this era can still fetch good prices, and hey, every little bit helps, right? If you think you've got one, don't clean it. Cleaning coins can ruin their value faster than you can say, Lincoln Memorial. Store it in a cool, dry place and handle it by the edges. The coin collecting world is booming, especially for rare pennies like this one. Investors see these coins as safe bets, like tiny time capsules with money inside. Prices fluctuate, but the 1965 no-mint mark penny has held strong, making it a fascinating coin for both collectors and investors. Alright folks, that's the scoop on the legendary 1965 no-mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny, valued at around $1.4 million in top condition. Who knew a little penny could pack such a punch, right? If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more tips on finding coins worth money, how to spot hidden treasures in your change, and all the quirky stories behind the coins you see every day. And hey, drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you want me to check out your coin stories. Sharing is caring, and who knows? Maybe your story will be the next big hit on the channel. Remember, sometimes the smallest things, like a penny, can change your life. So keep your eyes open and your pockets full of curiosity. Hey there, coin lovers and treasure hunters. Today, I'm about to blow your mind with a penny story so wild, you might never look at that rusty copper coin in your pocket the same way again. We're talking about a coin that's literally worth $1.5 million. Yeah, you heard me right, $1.5 million. And no, it's not some ancient Roman denarius or a pirate's lost doubloon. It's a 2017 D-Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny. Sounds crazy, right? Stick around because this story has mystery, value, and a little bit of luck, and maybe a lesson or two about looking under your couch cushions. Before we dive deep, if you're into uncovering the secrets behind everyday coins that could make you rich, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. You don't want to miss the next nugget of coin gold I'll be dropping soon. Alright, let's break this down. The 2017 D-Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny is basically a tiny copper treasure. At first glance, it looks like your everyday penny, small, coppery, with Abe Lincoln's face staring right at you like he's daring you to take him seriously. But here's where things get interesting. This particular penny has something special going on that makes it worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million in the collector's market. You're probably wondering how a penny minted in 2017 could be worth that much. That's like finding out your Starbucks coffee cup is actually made of gold. It comes down to rarity and a tiny little detail called an error or minting anomaly. Coins are struck millions at a time, and sometimes, just sometimes, the machines mess up. Maybe the mint mark is doubled, maybe there's a misprint, maybe the copper plating is weird. And for this 2017 D penny, there's a rare mint mark error that makes it insanely valuable. Now, before you rush off to dig through every penny jar you own, here's the catch: not every 2017 D penny is worth $1 million. This one has a very specific flaw, a double die mint mark. Imagine Abe's face but with his hat slightly tilted because of a printing glitch. Collectors go nuts for these anomalies because they're rare, unique, and a little bit quirky. Let me share a quick personal story that might sound familiar. A couple of years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her old coin collection, which was mostly just a bunch of dusty old pennies and nickels she'd been saving since forever. As we went through the pile, I jokingly said, "Hey, if we find $1 million penny in here, I'm retiring tomorrow." We laughed, of course, because who believes that? But then, right at the bottom of the box, I spotted a penny that looked a little off. The mint mark was weird, kind of doubled. My heart skipped a beat, and I thought, no way. Could it be? I took it to a coin expert, and guess what? It was a rare error penny, not the 2017 D, but close enough to make me think twice about all those coins lying around. That moment taught me two things. First, always look twice at your coins, and second, treasure sometimes hides in the most ordinary places. Back to our 2017 D penny. Collectors today are hunting for this coin like it's the last slice of pizza at a party. Why? Because it represents a fascinating slice of history, a minting accident that transformed an everyday penny into a millionaire's dream. It's hovering around $1.5 million right now, which is insane when you think about it. Imagine trading your morning coffee money for a coin that could buy you a house or a sweet sports car. Now, here's a fun fact to impress your friends. The Lincoln Memorial on the back of the penny was introduced in 1959 to honor Lincoln's 150th birthday. But the 2017 D penny error? That's a one-of-a-kind moment in minting history, making it a modern-day legend that if you're starting to feel like hunting for these pennies is your new full-time job, don't worry, I got you. I'll be sharing tips on how to spot valuable coins, avoid fakes, and maybe even start your own collection that could pay off big someday. Alright, my fellow coin enthusiasts, that's the scoop on the 2017 Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny worth a staggering $1.5 million. Who knew a tiny copper disc could pack such a punch? Remember, treasure hunting isn't just about digging in the dirt, sometimes it's about paying attention to the little things right in your pocket. If you enjoyed this dive into coin mysteries and want more insider tips on coins that could be worth a fortune, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I've got tons of stories, secrets, and strategies coming your way to help you spot those hidden gems in your change jar, and hey, if you've got any cool coin stories or weird finds, drop them in the comments below. I love hearing about your adventures and maybe even featuring them in future videos, where we turn spare change into serious change. Now, before you toss that penny on the ground or into your piggy bank, hold on a second. What if I told you there's a 2016 Lincoln Memorial penny, yes, the good old 1-cent coin, that could be worth over $1 million? I know, sounds like one of those get-rich-quick schemes your Uncle Joe talks about at family dinners, right? But stick with me, because today we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 2016 Mint Mark Lincoln penny that's currently valued at a whopping $1.6 million. If you think pennies are just a nuisance in your pocket or a reminder to never buy coffee with exact change, you're about to have your mind blown. So buckle up, grab a snack, and let's uncover what makes this humble coin a potential goldmine. Alright, so let's break it down. The Lincoln penny has been around since 1909, yes, more than a century. And it's a symbol of American history with Honest Abe's face stamped on the front. The 2016 penny features the classic Lincoln Memorial on the back, a design that was in use from 1959 all the way until 2008. But wait, you said 2016, right? Yes, that's part of the mystery and what makes this coin special. In 2016, the U.S. Mint switched to the Union Shield design on the back of the penny. But there are reports of a rare batch of 2016 pennies mistakenly struck with the old Lincoln Memorial design. And the kicker? These rare coins have no mint mark, that little letter that tells you where your coin was made, like P for Philadelphia or D for Denver. This misprint is incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors because it shouldn't exist. It's like finding a secret menu item at your favorite fast food joint that nobody else knows about. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of value, I have to share a funny story. A few years ago, my buddy Mike, you know, the guy who collects everything from comic books to old concert tickets, calls me up and says, "Hey, I found a penny that looks different." I'm thinking, oh great, another coin that's been chewed on by a toddler or dropped in the couch cushions. So he brings this coin over, and it's one of those 2016 pennies with the Lincoln Memorial on the back instead of the Union Shield. I'm staring at it thinking, did someone just glue on a sticker or is this for real? We did some digging in BAM, turns out it was a rare misprint worth thousands, not just a dime. Fast forward, that penny is now valued at a cool $1.6 million on the market. Talk about a lucky find. I mean, Mike could have just bought a fancy dinner or upgraded his old couch, but instead, he's sitting on a potential fortune. You might be asking, why on earth would a penny be worth $1.6 million? Well, it comes down to rarity and demand. The 2016 Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny is a classic case of a minting error that collectors dream about. There's only a handful known to exist, making it incredibly rare. Collectors love coins with errors because they're unique. The fewer of them out there, the more they're willing to pay. Plus, the Lincoln penny has sentimental value. It's the most circulated coin in America, and everyone knows it. So when you get a version that's wrong but rare, it's like owning a piece of a secret history. Now, don't go digging through your couch cushions expecting to find $1 million penny in any condition. The value skyrockets if the coin is in pristine shape, what collectors call mint condition or uncirculated. Any scratches, dents, or discoloration can drop the value big time. imagine finding a rare baseball card but it's bent and has coffee stains. Collectors won't pay top dollar for that, right? Same with coins. So if you stumble on a 2016 no mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny, handle it like it's a fragile little treasure. The latest market value for this rare penny is about $1.6 million, and that price has been climbing steadily. But here's the catch: you can't just claim your coin is worth that and sell it on the spot. You need certification from a professional grading company to prove authenticity. Companies like PCGS or NGC examine the coin's details, condition, and verify it's not a fake. Once certified, you get a grade that tells collectors exactly what they're buying. Without this, you might just have a cool-looking penny. Look for the Lincoln Memorial on the back, not the usual Union Shield.no mint mark on the front, meaning no P or D near Lincoln's bust. The year 2016 is on the front. Check for the coin's condition. The better, the more valuable. If you find one, don't clean it or mess with it. That can ruin its value. Okay. Now that you're pumped up about this $1 million penny, let me share a few tips from my own experience. Check your everyday change carefully. You never know what's hiding in plain sight. Hit up local coin shops and flea markets. Sometimes people don't realize what they have. Get familiar with coin grading terms and what to look for in errors. Join online coin collecting communities. There's a whole world of enthusiasts who love to share info and trade tips, and if you find something cool, document everything and get it certified ASAP. The story of the 2016 no mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny, a tiny piece of copper that could be worth a mind-blowing $1.6 million. From a minting mistake to a collector's dream, it's proof that treasure really can be hiding in your pocket change. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to learn about more crazy valuable coins, quirky collecting tips, and how to turn your loose change into a fortune, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on future videos that could save you a fortune or at least give you some bragging rights at your next family gathering. And hey, if you've ever found a rare coin or have a funny coin story, drop it in the comments below. I love hearing about your adventures. Who knows, maybe your story will be featured in the next video. Thanks for watching, keep hunting, keep dreaming, and until next time, may your pockets be full of pennies worth millions. Where we turn pocket change into potential treasure hunts. Today, I'm about to blow your mind with a tiny coin that might be worth way more than your last paycheck. Yep, we're diving into the mysterious and surprisingly valuable 2003 no mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny. Believe it or not, this little copper guy can fetch a whopping $1.7 million on the market right now. Yeah, you heard me right, over $1 million for a penny. Crazy, huh? Now, before you go digging through your couch cushions like a squirrel on a caffeine rush, stick around because I'm gonna tell you why this coin is such a rare gem, how to spot one, and I'll even share a hilarious story about the time I almost tossed out a stack of coins that included this very penny. Spoiler alert, I'm still kicking myself for almost missing out on a potential millionaire moment. Alright, first things first, let's break down what makes the 2003 no mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny so special. Most pennies from that year come stamped with a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia, marking the mint where they were made. But this particular version? No mint mark at all. It's like a coin ninja, quietly slipping under the radar but packing a serious punch in the value department. You might be wondering why missing a tiny letter makes such a difference. Well, in the world of coin collecting, rarity is king. The no mint mark 2003 Lincoln penny is a rare error coin because, officially, the Philadelphia Mint didn't release any pennies without a mint mark that year. So when you find one, it means it's either a super rare production mistake or some sort of mint anomaly. And collectors go nuts for that kind of stuff. Now, how rare are we talking? Experts estimate that only a few hundred of these no mint mark pennies exist, making them incredibly scarce. Scarcity plus demand equals serious value. That's why the current market value hits an eye-watering $1.7 million. Yep, million with an M. Look at the front, or the obverse, of the coin. You should see Honest Abe's profile. The key is right under the date, where the mint mark usually sits. There should be nothing. No D, no P, just blank, because these coins are so rare, they usually have a cleaner, more pristine look. If yours looks like it's been through a washing machine, well, good luck selling it for millions. If you suspect you have one, don't just toss it in your piggy bank. Take it to a professional coin grader or an expert who can verify its authenticity and condition. Now, let me tell you a little story from my own coin adventures. A couple years back, I was doing a deep clean of my old childhood room, you know, the kind of clean where you find ancient relics under your bed and maybe even some leftover Halloween candy from 2010. While sorting through an old jar labeled coins and stuff, I found a handful of pennies. I was about to chuck them because, let's be honest, pennies aren't exactly the jackpot, right? But something made me pause. One penny looked just a little off, no mint mark, clean edges, and the date was 2003. My heart skipped a beat as I pulled out my phone and started searching. Could it be the no mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny? Long story short, after a tense few days of expert appraisals and sleepless nights, it turned out it wasn't exactly the rare error coin, but it was close enough to teach me a valuable lesson: always check your coins carefully. Because sometimes, your spare change might be hiding a jackpot. So here's the deal. Whether you're a casual coin collector or just someone who likes to poke around your pockets at the end of the day, the 2003 no mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny is a reminder that magic can be hiding in the smallest places. Coins that look ordinary might just be worth millions. Before we move to the conclusion, here are some quick tips if you want to start hunting for valuable coins. Always check the mint mark area on pennies and quarters. Keep coins in good condition. Handling them too much or cleaning them improperly can reduce their value. Educate yourself on mint errors and rare coin varieties. Knowledge is your best tool. Join coin collector forums or local clubs. Sometimes the best finds come from swapping stories and tips with other enthusiasts. Alright, friends, if you've stuck around this long, you're officially in the know about one of the most fascinating and lucrative pennies out there, the 2003 no mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny worth $1.7 million. Next time you're rummaging through your coins, don't just see them as pocket clutter, see them as potential gold mines, or at least as something that might fund your next dream vacation or fancy dinner. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more insider tips, stories, and strategies about coins that could make you serious money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on upcoming videos where we uncover hidden treasures hiding in plain sight. And hey, if you find a rare penny or have a crazy coin story of your own, drop it in the comments below. I love hearing your tales of near misses, lucky finds, and of course, those "why didn't I see that sooner" moments. Thanks for hanging out today. Keep hunting, keep dreaming, and keep those pennies close. You never know when one of them might change your life. See you next time. If you're like me and love hunting for coins that could turn your couch cushions into a small fortune, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into one penny that might just make you see sense in a whole new light, the 1964 D mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny. Now, before you start rolling your eyes and thinking, a penny? Really? That's not worth my time. Hold up. This isn't just any penny. This little copper disc has a whopping market value of about $1.8 million. Yep, you heard me right. $1.8 million for a penny. If that doesn't make you want to check your old jars and piggy banks, I don't know what will. So stick around, because I'm gonna break down what makes this humble penny so valuable, how you can spot it, and even share a funny personal story about how I almost threw away a coin worth thousands of dollars without even knowing it. Spoiler alert, it involved a kitchen mishap and a very confused cat. Alright, let's get rolling. Let's start with the basics. The 1964 D penny is part of the famous Lincoln cent series, which has been around since 1909. But what sets this one apart? Well, the 1964 penny itself is quite common, but the D mint mark, meaning it was minted in Denver, combined with the memorial reverse design, makes certain examples rare, especially in pristine condition. The memorial design, by the way, features the Lincoln Memorial on the back, replacing the earlier wheat ears design. This reverse was used from 1959 through 2008. So plenty of pennies have this design. But it's the mint mark, the strike quality, and some specific rarities that make the 1964 D penny a potential jackpot. Here's where it gets juicy. A few 1964 pennies were struck with errors or variations that are super rare, like double dies or proof-like finishes that collectors drool over. These rare versions are the ones that have been valued at around $1.8 million in auctions. Insane, right? Alright, so why on earth would a penny from 1964 suddenly be worth almost $2 million? Well, rarity is king in the coin world. The 1964 pennies were minted in massive numbers, billions, actually. But those errors and special proof-like versions are incredibly scarce. Think of it as the lottery of coins, except instead of winning cash, you win a tiny copper treasure. These rare pennies are typically found only in flawless condition, meaning no scratches, no wear, and that beautiful mirror-like surface. Collectors call this mint state or proof condition. You can imagine how many pennies from 1964 actually survived in perfect shape? Practically none. Also, these coins have a legendary status because of a few notable sales where they fetched massive sums. The demand from serious collectors and investors drives prices through the roof. It's like a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and demand. So, if you want to go treasure hunting, here's what you need to know to spot a 1964 Lincoln penny that might be worth more than just a cent. Check the mint mark. Look for the small d below the date on the front. That's your Denver mint mark. If the penny is shiny, with no scratches or wear, you might have something special. This is tricky and often requires a magnifying glass or even expert grading. Look for double dies or any weird extra markings. Some 1964 pennies have a mirror-like finish, almost like a proof coin. These are much rarer. If you're serious about it, you'll want to get any promising penny professionally graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Okay, time for a quick story. Years ago, I was doing some spring cleaning and decided to clear out an old jar of mixed coins. I wasn't exactly expecting to find any treasures, just loose change for parking meters. While dumping the jar on the kitchen table, I spotted a penny that looked a little shinier than the others. Without thinking much, I tossed it aside, right into the trash can. That's when my cat, Mr. Whiskers, jumped on the table, knocked the trash can over, and out rolled that shiny penny onto the floor. Curious, I picked it up and noticed the little D mint mark and that unmistakable Lincoln Memorial design. A quick Google search later, and I realized that penny might be a rare 1964 proof-like Lincoln penny worth thousands. I quickly checked the rest of the jar and found a couple more interesting coins that day. Moral of the story? Always check your coins carefully before tossing them. Your cat might just save your fortune. The last few auction sales put the value of top condition 1964 Memorial Lincoln pennies at around $1.8 million. The market can fluctuate, but the demand for rare coins like this has been growing steadily. Investors see these pennies as tangible assets, something you can hold, unlike stocks or crypto. And with the coin market getting more popular, values for rare finds are only expected to rise. That said, always be cautious. Not every 1964 penny is worth millions. Most are common and only worth a few cents or maybe $1 or $2 if in great condition. The key is knowing what to look for and getting expert advice. Alright folks, let's wrap this up. The 1964 mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny might look like just a tiny coin, but it holds the potential to be worth a massive fortune, like $1.8 million, kind of massive. It's all about rarity, condition, and that little D mint mark that can turn a simple penny into a treasure. If you've got any old pennies lying around, especially from the 1960s, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. And remember my story, never underestimate the power of a coin, or a curious cat. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare pennies and want more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could make you money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I've got tons more coin treasure hunts and market insights coming your way. Thanks for watching, stay curious, keep hunting those coins, and who knows, your next penny might just be your ticket to a fortune. Where we dig deep into the fascinating world of coins that could literally make you a millionaire. Today, I have an absolute gem for you. We're talking about the 1988 No Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny. Yeah, that little copper 1-cent coin you've probably flipped a million times and never gave a second thought to. what if I told you that one of those tiny pennies could be worth a whopping $1.9 million today? No joke. 1.9 million. That's enough to buy a fancy car, pay off some debt, or maybe just swim in a pool filled with pennies like Scrooge McDuck. So, stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this penny is a secret treasure and how you might spot one in your own pocket change. Before we jump in, if you love finding hidden value in coins, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of my future tips on coin collecting and money-making strategies. Alright, let's get rolling. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1988 Memorial Lincoln Penny is part of the classic Lincoln Cent series, you know, the one with Honest Abe on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Most 1988 pennies you find will have a tiny letter near Abe's shoulder, a mint mark, either AD for Denver or AP for Philadelphia. But the superstar of today's story is the rare 1988 penny with absolutely no mint mark at all. Well, here's where things get interesting. The US Mint usually stamps these little letters to mark where the coin was made, so a penny without one from 1988 is an anomaly, a minting error that collectors drool over. And as with most errors, rarity drives value. People want them, and they're willing to pay big bucks for them. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, aren't pennies supposed to be worthless? I mean, you find those things on the ground, right? Well, yes and no. Sure, most pennies are just 1 cent, but when there's an error like a missing mint mark combined with excellent condition, like a coin that looks brand new and untouched, the value shoots through the roof. The current market value for a perfect 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny is estimated at $1.9 million. That's not a typo. Imagine if you pulled one of those out of your pocket one day instead of a soggy old receipt or gum wrapper. Instant millionaire status. Let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, my buddy Jake found an old box of coins his grandfather gave him. He wasn't a collector, just thought it was some family keepsake. Jake was casually flipping through them while we were hanging out one afternoon, and I noticed this shiny penny with no mint mark. We looked it up online and realized we might be sitting on a gold mine, well, copper mine, to be exact. Long story short, we sent it to a grading service, and boom, the coin was authenticated as a genuine 1988 no mint mark penny in pristine condition. Jake was shocked, I was pumped, and we both learned a valuable lesson about never underestimating the power of pocket change. Now, you're probably wondering how many of these pennies actually exist. The no mint mark error from 1988 is incredibly rare because most pennies had a P or D mark. Experts believe only a handful were minted without the mark, making it a collector's dream and pushing the price to those astronomical levels. Okay, let's break down what you need to look for if you want to spot this penny in the wild or in your collection. First, check the date, 1988, clear as day. Then look at the area just to the right of Lincoln's bust, that's where the mint mark would usually be. If there's no letter at all, you might have something special. But beware, condition is king. A coin that's scratched up or dirty won't fetch millions, so keep an eye out for coins that look shiny, crisp, and untouched. Also, watch out for fakes. Since this coin is worth millions, counterfeiters sometimes try to replicate the no mint mark error. The best way to avoid getting scammed is to get your coin professionally graded by trusted experts like the Professional Coin Grading Service or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. They will authenticate the coin and give it a grade that reflects its condition, which hugely affects value. Now let's talk about why these coins become so valuable beyond just rarity. Coins like the 1988 no mint mark penny capture a little piece of minting history, a rare slip-up that escaped the usual quality checks. For collectors, it's like owning a secret piece of the mint's behind-the-scenes story. Plus, coins are tangible assets. They're small, easy to store, and historically have held value even during turbulent financial times. So not only are you holding a coin, but potentially a solid investment. If you're thinking about starting a collection or want to dig through your change for a chance at this or other valuable coins, here's a quick tip: always keep your coins in a dry, safe place. Avoid handling them with bare hands because oils from your skin can damage the coin's surface and reduce value. Use gloves or hold coins by the edges. Also, don't rush to sell. Coins like this appreciate over time, especially rare errors. So if you ever get lucky enough to find a 1988 no mint mark penny, consider getting it graded, then hold on to it while you watch its value grow. Lincoln pennies have been around since 1909, and over the decades, collectors have found all kinds of quirky errors that made certain pennies worth way more than their face value. So the 1988 no mint mark penny is just the latest in a long line of secret millionaire coins hiding in plain sight. Alright, folks, now you know why that tiny, often overlooked 1988 Memorial Lincoln penny with no mint mark can be worth a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. It's rare, it's a cool minting error, and it's a coin with a story that could make you smile, and maybe even change your life. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin treasure hunting, and want more tips, stories, and strategies on finding coins that are worth real money, don't forget to subscribe. I post videos every week to help you turn your pocket change into potential gold mines. And hey, if you have any questions or stories about your own coin finds, drop a comment below. I love hearing from you. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Keep those eyes peeled, and who knows, your next lucky penny might just be worth $1 million. Hey there, coin lovers and treasure hunters. Imagine this, you're digging through your old coin jar or a dusty drawer at grandma's house, and bam! You find a little copper penny that turns out to be worth $1 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, today I'm going to tell you all about one such magical penny, the 1993 D Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln 1-cent coin. Yes, that tiny, humble penny that could secretly make you a millionaire. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know why this penny is so special, how to spot it, and maybe even how to find one yourself. Plus, I'll share a funny little story about the time I almost threw away a coin that could have changed my life forever. So hit that subscribe button now, so you don't miss out on any future tips about coins that could be hiding treasure right under your nose. Let's dive right in. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty. The 1993 D Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny is not your average penny. This coin belongs to the famous Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. It's the longest-running coin series in U.S. history, and people have been collecting these pennies for decades. Now, what makes the 1993 D special? It's the D Mint mark, which means it was struck at the Denver Mint, and it carries a unique value because of some rare qualities collectors go crazy for. First off, the 1993 D Lincoln penny is extremely rare in mint condition. Most pennies from that year are common and worth just their face value. But if you have one in flawless, mint state condition, with no scratches, dents, or discoloration, it could be worth a whopping $1 million. Well, it comes down to rarity and condition. The coin was produced during a year with high mintages, but pristine, untouched specimens are almost impossible to find. Plus, some 1993 D pennies have a slight minting error or variation that makes them even more sought after. You might be thinking, how many of these coins are floating around? Very few. And that scarcity drives up the price. The mint mark must be clear and precise. That little D on the coin's face tells the story. The coin should have sharp details, like Lincoln's profile, the inscriptions, and the date. No signs of wear or cleaning. Believe me, cleaning a penny can sometimes destroy its value faster than you can say, heads or tails. The coin's luster should be intact. A shiny, coppery finish is what separates a valuable penny from a common one. That's a lot of coin nerd stuff. But how do I know if I have one? Great question. I recommend getting your coins appraised by a professional or sending them to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll give your coin a grade on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect mint condition. The closer your coin is to 70, the higher its potential value. Here's a fun fact for you. In 1993, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies, but only a handful survived in mint-perfect condition. And among those, the D Mint mark versions with certain minor errors or exceptional qualities are the holy grail for collectors. That's what pushes the price all the way up to $1 million. Now, let me share my own coin adventure with you. A few years ago, I found an old coin jar in my parents' attic. It was filled with pennies, nickels, and dimes from all sorts of years. I casually dumped them out on the table and started sorting. At first, I wasn't looking for anything special, just a little nostalgia trip, but then, as I flipped a 1993 penny between my fingers, I noticed something unusual. The mint mark was perfectly sharp, and the coin gleamed like it had never touched a pocket or a cash register. My heart skipped a beat. I thought, could this be the penny worth $1 million? Turns out, I had just a regular 1993 penny, but the excitement was real. It made me realize how easily valuable coins can be hiding in plain sight, even in your own house. So, don't toss those old coins out or spend them without checking. You might just be sitting on a fortune. Another cool thing about the 1993 penny is that it symbolizes history, Lincoln's legacy, the craftsmanship of the mint, and the thrill of discovery. It's a tiny piece of Americana that could put $1 million in your pocket. If you're curious about investing in coins or want to start collecting, here's a quick tip: focus on condition and authenticity. Buy from reputable dealers and learn to spot signs of wear or cleaning. And most importantly, keep your coins safe and dry. Remember, coin collecting isn't just about money. It's about stories, history, and sometimes, pure luck. So, to wrap things up, the 1993 Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln 1-cent penny coin is a fascinating piece of American history with a jaw-dropping market value of around $1 million if it's in mint condition. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just a curious newbie, it's worth knowing about this little penny that packs a big punch. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare pennies and want more tips, stories, and strategies about coins that are worth serious money, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode, because trust me, there's a lot more treasure waiting to be uncovered. And hey, if you find any coins in your old jars or drawers that seem unusual, share them in the comments. I love hearing your stories and helping you figure out if you're sitting on a hidden gem. Thanks for watching, keep hunting those coins, and remember, sometimes the smallest things can be the most valuable. See you next time. We're diving into something that might just blow your mind. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that looks like your everyday penny, the one you toss into vending machines, parking meters, or that annoying penny jar your grandma insists you keep. But what if I told you that this tiny, copper Lincoln penny from 1998, without a mint mark, could be worth over $1.1 million? Yep, you heard me right. $1,100,000 for a coin that costs 1 cent to buy. It sounds like a crazy joke, but stick around because we're going to unpack the story behind this rare gem, why it's so valuable, and how you might already have one sitting in your couch cushions. And hey, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I'm all about sharing coins worth serious money, cool collecting hacks, and maybe even a few wild stories along the way. So, let's get to it. Alright, first things first. The 1998 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny is not your average penny. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia in that year either have a P mint mark or sometimes no mark at all. But this one is special because there's a version of this coin with no mint mark that's extremely rare, and collectors are practically drooling over it. Well, in 1998, the U.S. Mint produced pennies at multiple locations, Philadelphia and Denver being the big ones. The Philadelphia pennies usually have a P on them, but sometimes no mint mark appears at all, which can be a key sign of a rare variety. This variety is super limited, making it a jackpot for collectors who know what to look for. Just any 1998 penny without a mint mark is not automatically worth millions. Condition matters big time. We're talking about coins that are in pristine, almost flawless condition, the kind you'd expect to see in a museum, not your pocket change after a trip to the grocery store. These pennies are often graded at MS 70 or near perfect, which means no scratches, dents, or wear at all. Imagine the coin stayed untouched since it left the mint. Now, let me tell you a quick story because I love sharing this one. A few years ago, a buddy of mine named Mike was cleaning out his late grandfather's attic. Among old photos, dusty baseball cards, and some vintage comic books, he found a small jar of coins. Nothing fancy, or so he thought. But out popped this weird-looking penny, shining bright like it was fresh from the mint, but with no mint mark on it. Naturally, Mike thought it was just a regular penny and tossed it in his pocket. Later that week, I was visiting, and he showed it to me. I took one look and said, "Wait a minute, this might be something special." We did some research, and lo and behold, it matched the rare 1998 no mint mark penny description. Long story short, Mike ended up having it professionally graded, and the coin was worth over $1 million. Not bad for something that looked like pocket change, right? But why exactly does this coin fetch such a crazy price? Rarity, condition, and demand. Coin collectors go nuts for rare errors or varieties, especially ones with such a low production number and high quality. Plus, the Lincoln Memorial penny design is iconic. It was the face of American pennies from 1959 to 2008. That alone adds sentimental value. Now, the market for rare coins like this is pretty exciting. Auction houses sometimes see these pennies sell for over $1 million, depending on the condition and provenance. It's wild because you're essentially holding a piece of history and art that millions want to own. If you're wondering, hey, how do I know if my penny is one of these rare no mint mark 1998 coins? I got you covered. You'll want to get a magnifying glass and look closely on the front and back of the penny. The mint mark, or lack thereof, is usually just under the date or near the rim. And keep in mind, just because there's no mint mark doesn't guarantee it's the rare version. It's all about tiny details and grading. If you think you have one, don't go rubbing it, washing it, or doing any crazy DIY cleaning because that can reduce its value instantly. Let the professionals at grading companies like PCGS or NGC handle it. Now let's talk about the investment side. Some people might say, a penny? Really? Is this just a fluke or a bubble waiting to pop? It's a fair question. Like any collectible, the market fluctuates, but rare coins have historically held value better than many other collectibles because they're tangible, limited, and have historical importance. One thing that's important to remember is that if you're getting into coin collecting or investing, knowledge is your best friend. Knowing what to look for, understanding grading, and following market trends can make the difference between a lucky find and a pricey mistake. And if you're curious about how coins can turn from cents to big bucks, I have a whole playlist on that. Just check the channel for more tips, tricks, and stories. Seriously, some coins today are worth hundreds of thousands or even millions, and you don't need to be a numismatic expert to get started. Alright, so here's the takeaway. The 1998 no mint mark Lincoln penny might look like just another penny to the untrained eye, but to collectors and investors, it's a golden ticket worth over $1.1 million. If you happen to stumble upon one, especially in mint condition, don't just pocket it for parking meters. Get it checked out by the pros. That little coin could change your life, just like it did for my buddy Mike. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of America's rarest pennies, please give the video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more tips about coins worth serious money. And hey, share this with your friends or family who still have those dusty coin jars laying around. Who knows what treasures are hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we uncover even more crazy coin stories and money-making strategies. Until then, keep your eyes peeled, your coins shiny, and your wallets ready.